This is your daily news reports. I'm going to give you status updates on the upcoming $3.5 trillion spending bill. The Democrats in the House issued demands, and Nancy Pelosi agreed to them. The Democrats in the Senate are still threatening to vote no to the bill. The Biden administration unveiled their $65 billion plan to prepare for the next biological threats. The director of science at the White House said, "It is likely there's going to be another worse than in the next 10 years, and we need to be prepared for it." Congressman McCall says that the Taliban is blocking Americans from boarding flights out of Afghanistan, and they're holding Americans hostage. More than 1,000 schools across the country have closed down. We are currently reporting 160,000 cases a day, and hospitalizations are on the rise. And we're going to end with how Generation Z is now becoming the new trendsetters, and millennials are slowly losing influence in media and consumer behavior. This year, and I hope you're having a very nice day. I want to give you an update on the upcoming $3.5 trillion spending bill. The House of Representatives, the Senate, and the White House have been working together to finalize the details of the bill. There are currently large disagreements on the expansion of Medicare, climate change, and how they're going to pay for this bill. So first, let's start with the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House and the leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives. 10 Democrats in the House issued 3 demands for the upcoming bill, and Pelosi agreed to those demands. Demand number 1 was members of the House would have 72 hours to review the bill before they need to vote on it. The members of the House said that they want to read and know what's inside the $3.5 trillion bill before passing it. Demand number 2 was that they want the House and the Senate to have discussions, coordinate, and negotiate before releasing the bills. The House is going to create their own final bill, and the Senate is going to create their own final bill. The House members want the House and the Senate to work together beforehand so that the bills end up being similar. The House members, they want to prevent any fighting between the House version and the Senate version. Demand number 3 was that they want a solution on how they're going to pay for the $3.5 trillion bill instead of saying, let's just borrow the money. Nancy Pelosi agreed to all 3 of these demands, so the 10 members of the House were satisfied. In the Senate, 2 Democratic senators are still threatening to vote no to the bill. Those Democratic senators are Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. They're both saying that the $3.5 trillion bill is too expensive and it's going to make the inflation situation worse. Senator Manchin says that the Senate has too much on their plate right now and they should take a strategic pause. Manchin's exact quote was, "Let's sit back, let's see what happens. We have so much on our plates, we really have an awful lot. I would ask my colleagues and all of the Senate to hit the pause button." And then Manchin went on to say that it would be a strategic pause. The Biden administration said on Sunday that they're going to push ahead with the $3.5 trillion bill, even though Manchin and Sinema are threatening to vote no. If a single Democrat in the Senate votes no, then the bill will not have enough votes to pass. But just to be clear, Senator Joe Manchin threatened to vote no to the physical infrastructure bill, but then he switched his vote to a yes after the politicians included $1 billion for his wife's project, which you can read about, the Appalachian Regional Commission. So the Biden administration may be calling Manchin's bluff and Sinema's bluff. If Sinema and Manchin, if they actually voted no to the bill, then it would basically be political suicide. It would be the end of their career. So we'll see if Manchin and Sinema stand their ground, or if they cave in, or if they get bought out. In political news, the Biden administration unveiled their $65 billion plan to prepare for the next biological threats. They're going to spend the $65 billion over the next 10 years to invest in the country's ability to respond rapidly and effectively to future. The director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy said, "In 5 years, we need to be in a stronger position to stop infections before they become like." The director said there's a reasonable likelihood of another serious that could be worse and will occur soon, possibly within the next decade. We must be prepared to deal with any type of viral threat. The Biden administration said that the cost of prevention pales in comparison to the enormous cost in lives and economic costs. The chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, was nominated to the Federal Reserve Board in 2012 by Barack Obama. Powell was promoted to become chairman of the Federal Reserve under Donald Trump. So Powell has the support of Republicans and Democrats. Powell's term is up in February, and President Biden is thinking about replacing him. Biden is expected to announce his decision sometime this month. The progressive Democrats, they want to get rid of Powell for someone else that's going to focus on climate and justice. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, they issued a joint statement that said, "We urge President Biden to reimagine a Federal Reserve focused on eliminating climate risk and advancing economic justice. We urge the Biden administration to use this opportunity to appoint a new Federal Reserve chair." In international news, over the weekend, the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, said about 100 U.S. citizens are remaining in Afghanistan. According to Congressman McCall, there are hundreds of Americans abandoned in Afghanistan. Congressman McCall says the Taliban is blocking Americans from boarding flights out of Afghanistan, and they're holding Americans hostage. The State Department says that they don't have reliable information to confirm or deny those claims. For the Afghan wartime helpers, the consequences have been worse. Wartime helpers are being taken to their homes to watch their family members be beheaded before being tortured and executed themselves. In current events, more than 1,000 schools across the country have been closing down due to schools are closing because of the increasing case counts and increasing absences. According to a review by Burbio, 70% of the 200 largest school districts in America are requiring face masks. This has become a highly controversial issue, especially among Republican governors. But President Biden said this isn't about politics. It's about keeping our children safe. It's about taking them together. America is currently averaging 160,000 cases a day. Hospitalizations are continuing to rise to levels not seen since January. There are currently 90,000 patients in the hospital right now. The CDC says that daily fatalities have increased by 131% compared to last month. ICU capacity is running out in Georgia, Hawaii, and Kentucky. And I wanted to leave you with this trend so that you know what's going on. The older millennials are now turning 40 years old. Millennials are no longer considered cool. They're no longer the trendsetters, and the world, or at least the marketing world, is no longer concentrating on that age group. Now it's Generation Z's turn to take over the economy. The oldest of Generation Z is about 25 years old. Generation Z's income is going to surpass the income of millennials in 2031, so about 10 years from now. So Generation Z is going to start exerting their influence onto the world. Just like how millennials, they stormed the way with Instagram, Gen Z is storming onto the scene with TikTok. There's going to be a cultural shift and change in consumer behavior. So here's an example. If you're a millennial and you think that skinny jeans are in style or cool, then you're outdated and you might as well wear a top hat. Generation Z likes neon colors, they like baggy jeans, basically your wardrobe from the 2000s, and they're activists. Generation Z is going to enjoy their time in the spotlight until Generation Alpha takes over, which are children born in 2010 and after. Generation Alpha is supposed to be the most transformative age group because they're going to be the most technologically savvy, the most ethnically diverse, and the most educated generation in the history of mankind, thanks to technology. That's news for today. If you enjoyed today's report, please be sure to subscribe. I thank you for your support, and I wish you a very nice day.